Good morning, afternoon, evening. Greetings from the Institution of Global Professionals (IGP). Greetings from the Institution of Global Professionals (IGP). Thank you all for joining us and staying with us till the end. Honorable knowledge seekers, today I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Rituparna Datta. I am from Bangladesh. Dear knowledge seekers, I am proud to be associated with IGP. IGP, a pure non-profit organization, is a social and ISO certified international educational and training institute. In the last 3 years, we have already served 25 million plus knowledge seekers and 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 450 plus professionals and 4,500 plus organizations. And Institute of Global Professionals IGP and ISO 9001 and 2015 and 10,002 2018 is a training facility for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in a global labor market by providing professional qualifications. The Institute of Global Professionals is an educational institute that provides social work globally recognized and reputed. Research, student, and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. We distribute our service locally, nationally, and internationally to students, job seekers, job holders, and also for learners through respective campus, location, and distance. Learning platform. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education isn't a business product. It's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminars, courses, awards, quiz competition, monitoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 premium services for free, like creating our portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, motivation letter, and word knowledge platform for gathering knowledge, general knowledge, which can upgrade all day kids learning, game websites, free courses, converter sites, and many more. We help to empower youth to learn to make their expectations and dream and overcome highly skilled people. We implement several training program webinars and offline online courses for youth and learners by professional trainers, speakers, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals. So develop all kinds of youth and to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice method. We must have a genuine concern for the learners. We represent more diversity, growth, and innovation and report. To lead a session with professionalism, Passion and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective, best quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who can seek information can improve their skill levels and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable to us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we have already completed 1,538 webinars successfully. Wow. Moving to the next, moving to the next. With your continuous support, we have already completed 1,538 webinars successfully. Wow. Dear IGP speakers, participants, and well-wishers, at this moment, this is a very important message for you all. We changed and designed our website www.eduigp.com. On this website, we have surprise we have surprise for everyone. Hope you will be benefited. We already launched our new website there where you can find all your previous activities together with lots of new features. But one strong point is that without an account or login, you can't enjoy our services. So create your account for once with your proper information. Note that with your proper information, you will enjoy our features. With mismatched data, you can't do anything here. From now, you have to participate in live quiz competition on our website. We replaced Slido. You have to join directly on our website. Now you can check all of our previous webinars and verify certificate. Now it's easier and time oriented because after the session we will not provide you with any code of for certification. You have to take part in our one exam. After that, if you passed, you will receive our certificate. Otherwise, not. But you can take part in an exam unlimited till you pass. If you were an IGP speaker, you can download all your previous speakership certificate. If you are a host of IGP, you can download your certificate of gratitude. If you are an online quiz competition winner, you can download your certificate of participation. If you are selected for a lifetime membership, then you can download a certificate of lifetime membership. Besides this, if you participated in any award function which organized combined support with IGP, you can download that also. You can instantly prepare and download 18 types of instant certificate from our website within a minute. Certificate of Global Professional Membership, Certificate of Global Influencer during the pandemic, Certificate of Active Knowledge Seeker, Certificate of Social Activist during the pandemic, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2020, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2021, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2022, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 1 Authentic Assessment and Teaching Learning. In teaching learning. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 2 Teaching English as a Foreign Language and Assessment. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 3 Digital Classroom Engagement Tools. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 4 The New Trends in Education. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 5 Upskilling Organizational Leadership and Managerial Skills. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 6 Strength and Innovation in Mathematics Education. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 7 Research a Comprehensive Approach. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 8 Art in Teaching Special Program in the Arts. Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 9 21st Century Tools in Teaching Mathematics. Certificate IGP Corporate Ambassador certificate of IGP Campus Ambassador, which you can prepare and download within a minute. From now on, you can participate in 1000 plus international level quizzes with verified e-certificate. Teaching tips for teachers, health tips for parents, health tips for teens, gamification tools for teachers. You can join IGP Alumni. You can check out our 50 plus premium services website for free and many more. Dear IGP well-wisher, we promised previously that lack of technical issue we are late sending you on time. This is a great opportunity to collect your previous send. We solve all issues from our website. Now you can enroll, reset password, everything. You can check your dashboard for all webinars details. It's cordial request to you check all buttons and pages on our website. Surely I can say you will be benefited. Thank you, but note that without an account or login, you can't enjoy our services. At present, we are going to start our 1538 program named Educational Supervision, and our today's speaker, Ma'am Dr. Samia Ismail Sheikh. Before I hand over the stage to Ma'am, want to share a very little bit about our speaker, Executive Manager in Ministry of Education and Higher Education, Pakistan. Now is a very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Now is a very important moment for me to invite our speaker on IGP with her presentation. Hello, ma'am.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, our knowledge seekers, our lovely knowledge seekers. I hope that all of you are doing well. So pleased to meet you again today through the team of IGP Institute of Global Professionals. I'm so proud to be one of its members. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all Muslims all over the world because of Al Adha feast. I hope that many happy returns. Dr. Samia Ismail Skeik. I'm a manager in the Ministry of Education and Higher Education. I'm from Palestine, specifically from Gaza. My topic today is about educational supervision. Um, about our contents, we are going to talk about there will be an introduction, then definitions of educational supervision, then nature of supervision, objectives of supervision, characteristics of effective supervision, then traditional and modern educational supervision, and there will be a conclusion for my speech. Education is the key to national development of any country, and in every educational system, the teachers constitute a very vital component. Despite the remarkable advancement in technology in all areas of teaching and learning process through the production of instructional materials such as television, computer, projector of various kinds. The teacher is still an indispensably significant factor for motivating and imparting knowledge to the learners at each level of education. The extent to which teachers achieve this important role of imparting knowledge is contingent to their effective job performance. Supervision in education management is an effort that helps teachers or serves them so that they can improve, develop, and increase the quality of their learning and can provide effective and efficient student learning conditions. Supervision also leads to efforts to achieve educational goals and improve the quality of education and the assistance of services provided, namely the preparation of learning plans, implementation of learning, and assessment of learning achievement. Supervision can also be in the form of encouragement, guidance, and opportunities for the development of the teacher's skills and abilities. Educational supervision is a service provided by leaders to help teachers become professional teachers in accordance with the development of science in general and education in particular, and are able to increase the effectiveness of the teaching and learning process in schools. About the definitions of educational supervision. Educational supervision means an all-out effort of the school officials directed towards providing leadership to teachers and other educational workers for the improvement of the institution. Supervision is a creative, as Badringer and Verma said, supervision is a creative and dynamic process giving a friendly guidance and direction to teachers and pupils for improving themselves and the teaching learning situation for the accomplishment of the desired goals of education. This is one of the opinions or of the definitions of super educational supervision. Will you please pass the slides? As Bar said, supervision is an expert technical service primarily connected or concerned with studying sorry, and improving the conditions that surround learning and pupil growth. Another definition for NERNI, supervision is the procedure of giving direction, yes, to and providing critical evaluations of the instructional process. The end result of all supervision should be to provide students at all levels with better educational services. Another supervision is the procedure of giving direction to, as I said. Then Biggs and Joseph Justman said that in general, supervision means to coordinate, stimulate, and direct the growth of the teachers in the power to stimulate and direct the growth of every individual pupil through the existence of talents towards the richest and the most intelligent participation in the civilization in which he lives. However, from the definitions, we can derive certain natures of supervision, which are as follows. First of all, supervision is a creative and a dynamic expert technical service. It provides leadership with expert knowledge and superior skills. It promotes cooperative educational effort in a friendly atmosphere. It gives coordination, direction, and guidance to teachers' activities. It stimulates the continuous growth of teachers and development of pupils. Will you please pass the slide, Ms.? Then, it improves instruction and the teaching learning process. It helps achievement of appropriate educational aims and objectives. It helps to decide and order execution and assist in improving instruction. Then it represents a portion of the whole enterprise of school management. Also, it saves us from the victimization of soul-killing administration. About nature of educational supervision, also, it is a democratic process. It is a continuous process. It is a scientific process. It is educational supervision is professional in nature. It is also creative in nature. Result-oriented process, then process of motivation, and it is a coordinated effort. We're going to talk about the objectives of supervision. The objectives of supervision. Slide number 11, if you please, will you pass the slides to slide number 11? We want to talk about, or we're going to talk about the objectives of supervision. There are general and specific objectives of supervision, in fact. The general objective of supervision is one, and that is the improvement of the whole teaching learning process by making maximum utilization of resources of educational institutions. The specific objectives of supervision can be summarized with the following points. First of all, to evaluate the school program with respect to the growth of the child and the effectiveness of the teaching learning process. Then, to provide professional leadership to all educational workers for guiding them in the right direction. Will you please pass the slides for number 12? Then, one of the most important objectives is to assist teachers to identify and analyze learning difficulties and other educational problems of pupils and to help them in planning suitable remedial instruction. Then, to diagnose the weaknesses of the educational institutions as well as the problems faced by the teachers of the institution and to suggest suitable remedial measures to cope up with those limitations. Then, to assist and encourage teachers in preparation of instructional materials like teaching aids, workbooks, lesson plans, and the like. Then to promote professional growth of teachers through training programs, demonstration, staff discussion, individual counseling, workshops, seminars, and etc. Then to maintain a cordial relationship with the local community. One of the most important objectives also is to act as a liaison between the Department of Education of the state or of the country and the educational institutions and thereby to keep the educational institutions vigilant about the latest developments of the Department of Education. Then, to improve the teaching skills of teachers, this is one of the most important objectives. In fact, educational supervision help the teachers to develop their skills in teaching or in the teaching learning process. Then, to acquaint the teachers with new pedagogical approaches to improve the learning environment in the school, then to diagnose the problems faced in the process of teaching learning. This is very important. Will you please pass the slide to 15, number 15? Then to integrate the elements of educational system and to promote cooperative educational effort in a friendly atmosphere. Then to develop interpersonal relationships among the stakeholders. These are the whole objectives of the educational supervision. Then, if you want to talk about characteristics of effective supervision, in slide number 16, please will you pass the slide to number 16? We are going to talk about characteristics of effective supervision. The effective supervision is directly related to the level of human interaction that can be established and maintained. Effective supervision is adaptive and flexible. It should be adaptive and flexible. The aims and methods of the supervisor, are determined by the conditions inherent in a particular situation and by the nature of the specific problems involved. Then effective supervision is also cooperative. First of all, it should be adaptive and flexible, then it should be cooperative. Consideration of a professional problem by all persons involved as is an essential ingredient of effective supervision. All the components of the teaching learning process should be involved, and so consideration of a professional problem by all persons involved is an essential ingredient of effective supervision. We are going to talk about characteristics in slide characteristics in slide 17, please. Slide 17. The next two or three slides, please. Will you please pass it? Then, effective supervision is scientific. Successful supervisors take a personal interest in their associates with whom they work, and at the same time, they deal with this professional problems in an objective and impersonal way. Will you please pass it for slide 17? Then, effective supervision is intelligently conceived. The complete success of supervision depends upon a substantial knowledge of both modern educational processes and development, psychological and emotional attributes of the people. This is very important, in fact. And effective supervision has a positive motivating effect. Good supervision should encourage the teachers to improve their teaching practices instead of discourage them. Then effective supervision is both analytical and integrative. Supervisor has to analyze the factors responsible to make supervision effective. Effective supervision is both projective and reflective. Now, will you please pass the slide for 19, number 19, slide number 19, functions of educational supervision. Supervision should be kept adaptable and flexible in terms of, first of all, I'm going to talk about the functions of supervision. First of all, it should be kept adaptable and flexible, as we said. First of all, the local situation, the experience of teachers, the particular problems of the teachers, the personalities and attitudes of teachers, then available instructional materials. Also, supervision should improve instruction through making teachers, in the next slide, please, making teachers and pupils feel comfortable, encouraging teachers to consider newer methods and practices, then encouraging teachers to innovate and create, to be creative, then making available and interpreting improved instructional materials and resources, then encouraging self-evaluation on the part of the teacher, then discovering and encouraging special strengths of teachers, then helping them to see the value of immediate and long-range planning. This is very important. In the next slide, then slide number 21, supervision should stimulate good human relations through creating mutual respect and confidence, recognition of individual differences among teachers, then tolerance of opposing viewpoints, then cooperative thinking, planning and evaluating, then encouraging maximum growth in areas of greatest strength. These are how to say how supervision should stimulate good human relations through the previous points which I talked about. We are going to pass the slide to 22. Supervision should develop the power of self-confidence and the feeling of security. How should we achieve that? By providing adequate materials, by providing recognition and recommendation of constructive efforts, then providing opportunity for leadership, contributing to a sense of personal achievement and pride, then creating situations that foster a feeling of mutual respect among teachers and co-workers, then sharing of knowledge of current school policies, then encouraging the teachers to share common problems. In the next slide, we shall talk about supervision, which should develop the power of self-evaluation, and that will be achieved through freedom in seeking help, cooperative planning of objectives, simulating the desire for growth on the job, then cultivating an objective attitude, then providing knowledge of total school situations and conditions. And the next slide, so supervision should promote the growth of both the pupils and the teachers through providing a continuous challenge, exhibiting attribute to of growth, providing recognition for evidences of growth, then encouraging self-evaluation through providing resources of all types, providing the experiences that make for growth, encouraging teachers to accept professional responsibilities outside the classroom, encouragement of creative activities, and encouraging experimentation. Supervision also should contribute to the building of high moral through teacher participation in information of building policy, joint consideration of major physical changes such as school uniform, ICT facilities, adequate attention to physical well-being of the teachers. This is very important, in fact, and their supervision should provide an effective and well-planned program through continuous series of meetings related to interpreting curricular guides, then meeting designed to meet the self needs of specific groups, then making use of instructional materials and techniques and demonstrations by successful teachers, teacher participation in planning in service teachers. Also, supervision should stimulate and provide opportunities for all to reach their maximum potentialities through becoming acquainted with the teacher and coming to know her background, recognition of teachers' talents, conferences outside the classroom. Supervision should encourage to attend national, state, and local meetings, workshops, conferences, symposiums, and etc. Supervision also should encourage creative teaching, learning through encouraging classroom experimentation, recognizing special talents of teachers, assisting in locating, stimulating professional references, and sharing noteworthy ideas of teachers, and also to help teachers to use the new methods of teaching English, for example, or any other subject, to use active learning strategies. Supervision or the educational supervision help students or help the teachers, first of all, in using the strategies of or the modern strategies of teaching languages or any other subject. Then supervision should contribute to a common understanding of objectives, and this will be achieved through cooperate efforts in formulating school purposes, frequent opportunities to study and reevaluate purposes and outcomes, provisions of effective communication system throughout the school system, then provisions for constant interpretation of school policies throughout the system. Also, supervision is in its evaluative process should consider the purposes of learning activities and instructional method. This is very important, in fact. Then take into account all the attributes of strength or weakness on the part of the teacher as well as total effectiveness. Then consider evaluation as a point of departure for improvement, then to utilize self-evaluation by teachers as much as possible in the total evaluative process. Supervision also should promote democratic way of life, and that will be achieved through respect for individual, provisions for effective group decisions, then demonstrating democracy in all its processes. If we want to talk about traditional and modern educational supervision, will you please pass the slide for 32? Slide number 32, please. We are going to talk about concept of traditional educational supervision or educational inspection. In the past, we used to hear or to listen to um, an idiom which is called educational inspection, and this is the traditional way of supervision. Traditional educational supervision is also called, as I said, educational inspection. It is the narrow concept of supervision. It is a narrow concept, in fact, and it doesn't achieve the objectives on which we are seeking for or we are looking for. The process of inspection is basically guided by the fault-finding motive of inspector instead of improvement of overall educational system. Here we are checking just the faults or the mistakes the teachers make. It's not going to improve or to develop the teaching learning process. Just to check or to find or to chase just the mistakes. This is the traditional concept of educational supervision. Will you please pass the slide for 32 33? The main focus of the educational inspection is teacher, not the teaching learning process, as I said, and children. We are just looking for the mistakes or the faults the teachers makes, and the focus that the teachers make, and the focus is just upon the teacher, not the teaching learning process and the children. Inspection is an unscientific mode of supervision, which is generally done by a single individual with an autocratic attitude. In most of the situation, inspection is done suddenly and planned in a poor manner. Inspection process, sorry, inspection process is characterized by imposed dictatorship, authorization, and non-cooperative. It's not a cooperative method. It is a dictatorship in achieving the objectives, and the focus is just on the teacher, not the children and the teaching learning process. Now we are going to talk about modern supervision. Will you please pass the slides for 34? Will you please, Ms. Will you please pass the slide for 34 slide? We're going to talk about modern supervision, which is an open-minded way to supervise. Modern supervision is a developmental concept over traditional supervision. It is based on research, and its prime objectives is to enhance the overall teaching learning environment, and it focuses upon the teachers, the parents, the children, the teaching learning process, as I said. Modern supervision is objective oriented, systematic, democratic, creative, productive, and dynamic. Democratic principles are more preferred in modern supervision. Modern supervision believes that supervision is a cooperative effort rather than an individualistic effort. Modern supervision is well planned and constructive. The principle of human relation and motivation is highly followed to make the supervision effective. Modern supervision, in fact, means motivating and bringing this desirable changes in the behavior of the teachers. To conclude what we have said, we talked about the nature or the definitions of educational supervision. Then we talked about the nature through these definitions. We achieved or we could know the nature of educational supervision and the characteristics of effective supervisions. Then we talked about the traditional way of supervision and the modern way of educational supervision. Educational supervision means an all-out effort of the school officials teaching also come under the scope of supervision, directed towards providing leadership to teachers and other educational workers for the improvement of institution. It involves both human and material elements. The human elements are the pupils, parents, teachers, and other employees, the community, and other officials of the state or the country. On the material side, money, building, equipment, playgrounds, etc. are included. That's all for my lecture today. Hope that you enjoyed the lecture and you get the benefit you are seeking for. Thank you very much for joining me. Thanks a lot. Miss, do you hear me? I have finished my lecture for today. Thank you very much. Miss, do you hear me? I'm waiting for your questions. In fact, I have finished. Can you hear me? Miss, where are you? Huh? Can you hear me? Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much, ma'am, for
Thank
the
you.
rich
You're
content
welcome.
presentation.
You're welcome. Waiting for any question?
Hmm? Thank you so much, ma'am, for your rich content presentation, which can
You are
impact our
welcome.
knowledge
Thank you.
seekers surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seekers can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together as your knowledge seekers. Once
Okay.
again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your
Thank you.
presentation. Now it's time for our question answer session, which it is
Okay.
the one more valuable part of our regular webinars. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be back in our session.
Okay.
Part 2, which is the question answer part.
Okay. Waiting
Dear,
for
I,
your question.
dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, you have webinar certificate and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seekers, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, you have webinar certificate and online quiz competition. start our question and answer session. Our first question is come from Sahib India and his question is this question is can you type of leadership
Uh-huh. Yes,
can
it's
you
a
type
very
of
good
leadership
question.
in the educational
Yes.
supervision?
Okay.
Then we can see you.
Yes. Okay, it's a very good question. In fact, can a type of leadership affect the educational supervision? Yes, of course, it can affect dramatically. In fact, because if this person or the supervisor is democratic, his way of supervising will be in a democratic way. If he is autocratic, his supervision will be in an autocratic way. And so the type of leadership will affect the educational supervision. In fact, it affects him dreadfully. Okay, and
Thank
this
you
will
very
be
much.
for the other side.
Thank you very much. Second question is coming from Arundhati. This is Sadhguru, and this question is good day everyone. Hello, ma'am. Dr. Sana Ismail scale what is the main
Yes.
emphasis of education and supervision? What is effective supervision in school? Thank you.
Okay, what the question says, it's also a very good question. Two questions, in fact. What is the main emphasis of educational supervision? As I said, the main emphasis of education supervision is like supervision which employs various techniques such as observation, demonstration, visitation, workshops, seminars, conferences, teachers' guides, handbooks of suggestions, and professional journals, and in service education. Supervision, in fact, yes, continuously makes its best effort to evaluate and improve the work environment of the pupils and teachers with their help and community's assistance and cooperation. It also continuously maintains the atmosphere of mutual trust, integrity, loyalty, freedom, goodwill, responsibility, and self-direction. And as I said, the emphasis on supervision, which employs various techniques such as observation, demonstration, visitation, workshops, seminars, conferences, teachers' guides, handbooks of suggestions, professional journals in and in-service education is very important to emphasize on the educational process supervision. Then the effective supervision in schools. I said the characteristics of it, in fact, in my lecture. But there are, in fact, many types of supervision. I didn't, I have no time to talk all about of them. But the creative one, or we can use a collective, in fact, a collective type um, of supervision. We can use the instructional type, the creative type. We can use so many types, in fact. But the most important is to make a collective type of supervision to achieve the objectives which we are seeking for or looking for. One of the characteristics is it recognizes the child and his growth and development as the center of supervisory activities. It focuses also mainly on the improvement of learning process. This is the type of the modern educational supervisor. Then, modern supervision also promotes the growth of the child and the teacher through simulation, direction, and guidance. Also, the modern supervision or the collective types of modern supervision sees education as a whole. All factors are evaluated in terms of supervisory principles rather than techniques in improving teaching learning situation. Subjective judgment is less emphasized and the importance is given on objective and scientific evidence. Also, interdependence and cooperation are the essential characteristics of model supervision. This is say the creative supervision. All teaching learning activities are integrated and correlated. Also, the modern concept of supervision is more than mere inspection of the work of the teachers. It is a friendly help and counsel. Also, it is a creative, dynamic, expert technical service. This is very important. It's highly cooperative, constructive, scientific, and systematic. Modern supervision also is composed of much more than rating sheets, classroom visits, and the teachers' meeting. It is, in fact, based on primarily on an attitude of continuous and natural interaction. And also, it is based on broadened concept of leadership. The concept of leadership held by a group usually depends on the emotional climate which within which the group must work. If the tone of the situation is largely authorization, only a status type of leader will help much opportunity to exercise leadership. Conversely, however, a feeling of security and mutual respect exists, it is relatively easy to encourage a type of leadership which emerges from the group. This is all about the type or the most effective types of educational supervision. This is the creative supervision or a collective type of all other types of supervision. Thank you.
One second. Thank you so much, dear ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have we have learned a lot from you tutor. We let some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable ma'am, honorable ma'am, hope to see you again and with a new topic and new date. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Pleased to meet you today. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Can I leave?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you
Honorable
very much. Nice to meet you. Hope to see you next time, inshallah.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm going to.
Honorable ma'am, before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Our website is under maintenance. We'll be back soon with our website. Just sorry for that, and don't worry, you will take your certificate for all the webinars soon. Dear RGP Knowledge Seekers, it's time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. We change this new process for live quiz competition. Note that after live, no one can participate. Participation process. Now time for the for some technical problem, we can continue our quiz from the website. So to join our quiz, you have to go www.slido.com and today quiz code is 2761234. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. can now start our quiz session. Our first question is paid employment with educational supervision, a volunteer be cooperative. Slide number কি বলতেছে? এটা লাগবে এটা correct answer is B. On the leaderboard, first person name is Baron B. Vepari. Second question is detention of a minor for educational supervision. In hand, we student B. Blocking B. Russia. Correct answer is B. On the leaderboard, first person name is Baron B. Vepari. Third question is supervision includes administrative, educational, and supportive purposes. At true before. Correct answer A. On the leaderboard, first person name is Baron Vepari. Fourth question is what is the main function of educational supervision? A improvement of teaching learning, B management of teachers and students. Correct answer A on the leaderboard first person name is Cafeteria Rivera. Next question is you should receive 1 hour of educational supervision every weekly, be monthly. Correct answer is A on the leaderboard first person name is Cafeteria Rivera. Uh, Next question is the basic purpose of educational supervision is to ensure better result of students in the board examination, B. Ensure effective teaching, learning ambience in the school. Correct answer is B on the leaderboard first person name is Cafeteria Rivera. What is the educational function of supervision? A development application of theory industry knowledge B. To provide marriage counseling. Correct answer is A on the leaderboard first person name is Cafeteria Rivera. Next question is streams that influence the scientific approach in educational supervision. A scientific management be human interest. Correct answer A on the leaderboard first person name is Cafeteria Rivera. Next question is principles of educational supervision according to Burhanuddin 2007 namely A principles relating to financing, B principles related to objectives to be archived. Our answer is B on the Liragot first question name is Rafael Rivera. Our last question is why is instructional supervision important in education institutions? A, to improve the academic performance of learners. B, to improve methods of teaching and learning. Correct answer is B on the Liragot first question name is Rafael Rivera. Conclusions to our webinar online quiz competition is top 10 conclusions again. We take a few minutes to finalize the result and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificates on our website and we will share this with. Conclusions to our webinar online quiz competition. Next top 10 conclusions again. We will take a few minutes to finalize the result and after that we will issue our online quiz competition certificates on our website and official Facebook page. Instead of go to business, তারপর conclusions to our webinar online quiz competition top 10 conclusions I will take a few minutes to finalize the result and after to issue our online quiz competition certificates on our website and official Facebook page. Instead of go to questions, at the end of a session you can see properly feed your skill, never stop learning, because life never stop teaching. Be happy and stay safe. See you again in the day. You want to participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, start with one of the people of things. Albert Einstein. Before I share with the end like button, I can also thank all our knowledge speakers for your active participation as well. See you in the next session. Thank you.